What's up, Internet? We have an episode coming out right now, and before that happens, I have some good news for you, okay? Do you not want to watch the video on YouTube? You just want to listen to the audio? You're driving in your car, you don't want to get distracted and crash into a busload of orphans? Well, good news. We are now branching out, and this episode will be on Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Podcast, okay? Those are some big ones, so come on and check it out, right? Enjoy the episode. So I have something that, with the half-hour mark, this would be perfect. So, like I said, we used to do a podcast together, man. We reviewed movies and everything.
Which you can still hear on iTunes.
Yes, it's still on iTunes.
Peppercorn's Movie Shack.
Peppercorn's Movie Shack. Check it out. Give it some views.
We didn't have Paranormal in there.
I remember Paranormal Poker Shack was a title you threw around at one point.
That was an original title, the Paranormal Poker Shack.
Yeah. You're good at
titles. Which was a joke because we stole it from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
About Homer's poker shack in the swamp. She know about my poker? She knows.
She knows.
Which, if the show has never gone to that location, it has missed an opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. So we used to review movies, and we ended up reviewing because they were a lot of, and we're comic book guys too. So we reviewed a lot of comic book movies because they were coming out a lot of the time. So I got this great idea when I was asking Tim to do the episode. I texted him. I said, "I have a great idea for your episode." This is going to be a challenge, but I believe this man can do it because this man has seen more movies than anybody I've seen.
I didn't prepare because I want to test myself, but go ahead.
You know most of these. So what I've done is I gave ourselves a timeline. He's going to review every comic book movie is actually a more broader term because I realized comic book movie is not superheroes. So you're going to hear some odd stuff. I did some research. There's some I omitted. So if any nerds on here are going to be like, you didn't include this movie, it's because this is 6 pages of handwritten of stuff that I had to go through. If you have a problem,
unsubscribe now.
Yeah, please don't listen to him.
Do not click that like button.
So what Tim's going to do is I basically said, we're going to start at Superman because it was the first real big blockbuster comic book film.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
We're going to start at Superman. He's going to review everything up until the most current movie, which I guess is Morbius. But if you didn't see it, you can always just go pass.
No, I saw Morbius.
Okay. If you didn't see any movie on this list, you can just say pass. But you can go however long you need to go with the review. You can do it in 1 word or less or one sound or less. Okay? I'm not limiting you. We have a half an hour. And,
please do not vomit on the equipment.
Okay. We have a half an hour. It's not about fast, but I just want to see how this goes, okay? So, this is Tim's review from 1978 till current day of every comic book film that I could find. All right, starting with number 1, Superman.
All right, Superman. Well, it is the original. It is the template by which all other superhero movies, especially origin films, are measured against. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous film. And it
is really cool.
Yeah, the only slide I would ever give against this film is the idea of that weird ending. But honestly, in the scope of what this movie is, literally, if you haven't seen this movie, here comes another spoiler.
Yeah, just fucking...
Superman flies backwards around the Earth, reversing the rotation of the Earth, turning back time, and that's basically how it saves the world in the end, which is too far. But the rest of the movie is absolutely brilliant. Christopher Reeve is...
Superman 2 is the more ridiculous ending, in my opinion, where he kisses Lois and goes, she's just like, Jimmy, what's happening in the world? And she goes, what the fuck? Didn't you just see huge fight and step outside general and shit?
Oh, yeah.
So your review of Superman. Amazing. You like Superman. Okay, moving on to Superman. This is a good one. Flash Gordon. Based on a comic book.
We were just talking about terrible movies I could watch over and over again. I could watch Flash Gordon every day for the rest of my life.
It is the greatest, corniest fucking movie.
Also, it has an amazing soundtrack, great performances.
Oh, no, I would like to point out the soundtrack is legitimately amazing.
Queen at their prime.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. And, the movie's terrible. The movie is ridiculous.
It's a lot of fun to watch.
None of it makes sense, but it is so gaudy and extreme and ridiculous.
There's a lot of money put into this.
Yeah. It's serious but cartoonish at the same time.
Yeah.
You get great performances from Timothy Dalton and Brian Blessing and Max von Sydow as Ming the Merciless.
Yeah, Ming the Merciless, one of the all-time great villains.
as the Doctor.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And of course, Sam Jones is the titular character.
One of the worst actors of all time.
Oh, yeah. What was his whole thing in the movie? He was the quarterback of the New York Jets?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the whole thing.
damn, cocaine was good in the 70s.
Yeah, well, the problem was Sam Jones finished it for
All
everyone.
right, so as mentioned it earlier, Superman 2. Oh wait, so what your overall review of Flash Gordon?
Terrible, but watch it several times. The more
Tim Gillespie says, check it out.
2
Superman.
thumbs,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes, make sure you say check it out, whatever at the end. Superman 2, go.
Superman 2 is the original theatrical cut is a little.
This is
goofy.
why I'm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little goofy. I loved it to death when I was a kid because
Me
it
too.
had the big superhero
It
fight.
was the first Superman movie I saw.
Yeah.
It was the second one.
And it had that great fight in Metropolis and stuff like this. And they made it work for what the special effects were back in the day.
Which at the time
Yeah.
were peak special effects.
Now you watch and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is like CW
But there's some
level.
great moments in that movie. Care to Step Outside, General, like I said before,
Oh my
you
God.
know?
When the music, Care to
There's
Step
a great
Outside, General,
score.
the music swells and stuff like that. My friends and I used to just sit around and just quote lines from that movie constantly.
Yeah,
But
how can you not?
I found his weakness. He seems to care about these people.
They're
Like pets, I suppose so. Terrence Stamp
Terrence
is
Stamp.
phenomenal.
Who's still
as
alive
General
and kicking
Zod.
if I
He sure is.
yeah,
He
fucking
pops up in movies.
as
now and
Zod, one of the I would argue, at least in movie form, probably besides Lex Luthor, the all-time Superman villain for
Yeah.
movies, you know? Like everybody
It's the one. I mean, it's the one most people know.
Yeah.
Because of Superman 2, and
Yeah.
then later on from Man of Steel, which
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get to.
We'll get to that later. But Superman 2 has 2 cuts.
Yeah, there's the Donner cut, which you can get,
Which I
is which is it's not complete, which would be interesting to see if it was like
But
really complete.
so what was the history? We can, and like I said, I've left time to kind of
Well, Richard Donner was the original director of Superman.
Okay.
Which was a huge hit, but cost a ton of money and went way over budget. They filmed Superman 2 at the same time.
Yeah.
The original idea was basically would be like a year between them and they would release them both at the same time.
Double up on profits. Yeah.
So most of Superman 2 was shot at the time, but then like when they got into it, he wanted more money to complete it, to keep it on the same level as the first one.
He didn't want it to degrade.
He didn't. He wanted, and back then that's not how you did sequels. Sequels were just about cash. You did them for like half the budget because none
It was
of
a
them
cash
ever.
in. It was just about
no sequel ever made as much money as the original. That wasn't a thing. That's not the way it is now.
No.
So they cut the budget on huge time. He had a big fight with him, so they replaced him with Richard Lester, famous for directing Hard Day's Night.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Who's a
Weird
great
choice for Superman too.
he's a great comedy director, and they wanted more comedy
Or
in the movie.
documentary guy. Yeah.
Well, Hard Day's Night is a straight comedy. It's not a documentary.
Well, I know
They
that,
played
but
themselves,
but
yeah.
it's shot sort of documentary style,
Right,
almost,
right.
with that black and white.
Yeah.
I love Hard Day's Night for the record.
Yeah. No, it's friggin' brilliant.
Yeah.
It's too bad it's not a comic book movie. But watch it. And so they basically fired him halfway through, and then Richard Lester came in and tried to add a little bit more fun to the movie, which is always like
Never a good idea. In my
never
opinion.
works.
Never
We'll
We'll get to that later.
So yeah, it was still a hit. But if you watch both movies, you can see the difference in the budget, especially like
What do you prefer?
the first one. I prefer the first one. When I was a kid, I adored Superman 2 just because it had the fight. It was a little more action.
If you had the endings also, that's that stupid ending where he kisses Lois and she forgets everything. And I think Kevin Smith said this actually when he was talking about this, when there was like Superman can't do these, like Superman's not real. But like, I'm like,
That's not Superman's powers. There is no Superman.
he can do anything. But it's also like
It's called fiction.
It's also just like
familiar
it's
with it.
so just out of the realm of like ridiculousness for him to just do that. And then she turns around to Jimmy Olsen. He's just like, well, "What's up, Jimmy? What happened?" And Jimmy should have just been like, "What the fuck? Didn't you see? There was like three of them."
There's also a weird thing in that movie where he takes the symbol off his chest.
Which is parodied to death, and I'll never get sick of it, to be honest with you. Because
It's such a weird superpower to have.
and you can tell, like, again, Superman's not real, but you can tell the things to be like, all right, Superman's never going to do that again.
There's one when we get to a later Superman movie. There are some powers that he has that my brother and I were talking about the other day that just off the deep end.
So Superman 2,
Superman 2,
check it out. You
check
like
it out just for the fight and Terrence Stamp.
That's all I'm looking
Actually,
for.
for the Kryptonian criminals alone. make it
Oh
worth
yeah,
watching.
great characters.
Christopher Reeve's always good
I
too.
love this. I threw in here Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing. Wes
Craven movie,
directed
yes.
Swamp Thing. I like this movie.
I
It
do
is
too.
incredibly cheap.
It's cheese. It's high cheese.
It's high cheese and stuff like this. And the costume for Swamp Thing is is not great.
Yeah. But yeah, at this point, I give a lot of points this movie because it's very true to the character.
It is.
And they played him up like a
It's
monster.
a genuine origin story for a more, horror
shot
style.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Wes Craven's good.
Wes Craven's great.
Stuff
Stuff
like
like that. Yeah.
Um,
And I genuinely I'll watch this movie like every once in a while, and I'll enjoy it too.
yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
You
And
say
it's a
about
quick
something.
watch.
Check it out. Check
yeah.
it out. All right. Superman 3. Probably my favorite sequel movie, just based on the fact that they were like, at some point they were all like, all right, we got to pair up Superman and Richard Pryor.
Superman needs a sidekick. Who would be perfect for it? Oh, I don't know.
The greatest living comedian?
Maybe we'll bring in Batman stuff. What about Richard Pryor?
You mean the greatest living comedian at that time?
There are three things that this movie absolutely
There's
has.
some stuff I like about this film, for the record.
Overall, this movie is garbage.
Dog shit.
But Richard Pryor is always delightful.
He's funny in it. Genuinely funny. There's some stuff, but it has nothing to do with Superman, the stuff he does.
No.
I have trading cards from it with him dressed up as the general. I love that.
A great scene.
Yeah.
The scene where Superman fights Clark Kent in the dump
Oh, man.
is great. It's one of my favorite Superman
That
moments.
whole movie was sponsored by Johnny Walker Red Label.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
bum Superman doing shots of scotch.
Which
I'm not
should
helping
tell
anybody.
you that there's something wrong with him, because why not at least Black Label? You're a Superman.
I remember-
You're not going to pay.
I remember watching that movie later on and being like, man, Johnny Walker's all over this movie.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some stuff that they attempt to do in it that I thought was actually pretty cool. And one of those things was and I had heard, I love movie lore, so I'll go down and be like what it was supposed to be, all that shit and everything. I love what a movie was supposed to be and what it got turned into and all that stuff. And with Superman 3, I had always heard that they were trying to do Brainiac, which when you watch the movie, you see it.
Well, it was the plan was basically it was Lex Luthor, the Kryptonians, General Zod, Brainiac, and then Bizarro. That was
the
their
other
plan.
one. Yeah.
But I don't think the Salklins, who eventually got the rights during Superman 3 and 4,
when 3 went to canon films, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get the rights to anything other than just basically the major Superman characters.
Yeah.
So they basically have Brainiac, who's not Brainiac.
Yeah.
But they do, one of the great scenes in it is when the sister, the real bitchy sister, gets turned into the cyborg.
Yeah.
Is scary, freaky,
That freaked me out as a
kind of
kid.
awesome. Yeah.
Because she gets pulled into it.
Yeah.
And then she has lightning powers after that.
Yeah.
Or something.
But the whole process of the conversion from her as a person to a cyborg.
And that's that's
sort of effective.
the plot in that movie is they have a virus. This is the actual plot of this movie.
A computer virus.
A computer virus that it removes cents or quarters of a cent slowly. They did this in Office Space.
That's the thing that Richard Pryor does that gets him in trouble with the fake Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
He's a hacker, but he has no computer experience. The opening of this movie, by the way, this is a Superman movie that opens with Richard Pryor waiting online for welfare. His welfare check.
Yeah.
That's how this Superman movie starts, which is an interesting choice. He ends up going through job placement and gets a job for a computer company.
Yeah.
And it turns out he has a natural affinity.
Yeah, he's got a natural gift for computers.
Never trained, never went to school.
I don't know if that's something that you're I don't know if that's running track.
Yeah.
Or being a
not
natural athlete. You know what I mean?
A 5-year-old just starts banging out tunes on a piano. I don't think that happens with computers.
I think you have a knack for numbers is what that is, and it evolves into something else. So Superman 3, what do you say?
It's hard to say no because there are a couple moments, but the movie is pretty much garbage. If you never see it, you'll be fine. There are better Richard Pryor movies, and there are certainly better Superman movies.
I am really excited for this next one. Howard the Duck.
On the list of movies that are so bad they're good, listen, if you're going to see Howard the Duck, just know this. You're going to see a duck's breast.
Yeah.
And not in the sense that, someone's going to have a nice plate of duck for dinner or anything else. Duck l'orange.
No, literal breasts.
Literally a duck in a bathtub that has breasts. Which makes you wonder, how do they reproduce? Because ducks don't have nipples.
If you read comics, I like the idea of the Howard the Duck character. But
the Howard the Duck.
Didn't George Lucas make this movie?
This is a George Lucas movie, yeah. It is terrible. It is creepy.
It is
and I watched
creepy.
it way too many times as a kid, and I should be in therapy for
It had an interesting cover. I remember
Oh,
really, it was one of those covers I gravitated towards in the video store when I would go and rent a movie.
Yeah. Very early Tim Robbins performance.
Yes, a very early Tim Robbins
Yeah.
moments. And to be fair, it's almost like the puppet work is like too good in it because it's way too lifelike where it just comes off
Yeah.
scary. Like,
And Leah Thompson is hot as hell in it.
yeah, and she bangs a duck.
Yeah, which is...
She doesn't he go down on her in that? Doesn't he?
I don't think it gets that... This was supposedly marketed for kids, but not really.
No, but he has.
They definitely...
She has sex with a duck in it.
Pretty much.
So what do you say about Howard the Duck?
You should watch it because you'll never believe it exists until you see it.
It's fair. If you don't believe it exists, hunt it down. I assure you it does.
Yeah. You want to pack yourself a nice big bowl.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
roast
movie
it.
to get high to, actually.
Get
All
your
right.
friends together and have a good time.
Here's another movie to get high to that I... This is up there as movies that I love, but awful. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Oh, what a garbage fire. This movie...
The Nuclear
The
Man.
Nuclear Man. Oh, if you can find the...
That was supposed to be Bizarro.
That was supposed to be bizarre. If you can find the deleted scenes on YouTube for this,
I have
where there was
seen them,
another version of the Nuclear Man before the actual, before the tanned curly hair.
He looked like Sid Vicious
Yeah.
for the wrestler. Like, that's what I remember thinking. I'm like, oh, I thought that was Sid
It's like
Vicious.
really attractive Sid Vicious back when he was
or,
Sid
Sid
Justice.
Justice, yeah.
Before that, there's another like sort of more bizarro type one that looks like a Frankenstein. It's terrible. This movie is garbage. But what we were talking about Superman powers, my brother and I.
Oh, yeah.
Masonry eyes.
Yeah, that's
At
right.
one
He
point,
builds something with his eyes in this.
He puts the Statue of Liberty like back after he catches it, and then he just stares and does masonry work with his eyes, which, of course, a staple of the comics.
Yeah. I can safely say...
If you've ever wondered, like, how do they rebuild Metropolis after Superman destroys it after all this? He just looks at it.
That's how he's always done it. He just, all right, don't worry about it. I got this.
I got laser eyes, and when I'm done lasering, I can do some masonry.
But that was one of the things with those movies where it's like, you can't just write a power for Superman every time that he needs to do something that isn't in his repertoire. It's cute when Batman does it.
You just
It's not
type it down. Yeah.
Because that was the
No.
thing. I think I have to believe that was their mindset. It's like, well, Batman has a gadget for everything. I'm like, I agree, it's a little ridiculous, but it's slightly
The
more
back
plausible.
shark repellent.
Yeah. The Bat Sand organizer from the movie.
Oh, God.
God, I love that movie. All right, so Superman 4, Quest for Peace. What do you say?
Oh, it's so bad you might like it, but honestly, it's skippable. Totally skippable. There's not much of a redeeming quality on that one.
Okay. All right, getting to a big one now. Batman. 89 Batman.
Batman 89.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
I mean, like again, there's some that I really will say this. I'm like, it's just good. I have talked about
It's
this
just
movie
a
ad
solid
nauseum.
watch.
Yeah, it holds up.
Nicholson as the Joker alone
Yeah.
would make it worth watching, but
Keaton's
gives a
Great
really
Bruce Wayne.
solid performance as Bruce Wayne.
the suit's great. The
Yeah.
look is, and like it's a little dated with some of the makeup, but it fucking holds up, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's
The
really,
Batmobile.
it seems small if I watch it now.
Yeah, it does seem small,
It
but it's
seems like
almost that's
everything-
almost what I like about it now.
Yeah, but I think that's the scope you had to work with because
that
Burton built the whole city, whole world.
literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of Gotham. He
So
didn't-
much so they ripped it off for the cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. And if nothing else, this movie deserves high praise for its inspiration of the Batman animated series.
Yeah,
Which
and
is
really
today-
influencing superhero films as a whole going forward. Like
Right.
it was the first huge hit.
And
like
taking
that.
a chance at actually being dark for the sake of being dark.
Yep. And also my example that I always point to when I'm like, people always will hate casting. Everybody looks
Nobody
back,
likes
but
anyone who
nobody
plays
wanted
Batman.
Michael Keaton to be Batman.
Every time anyone's cast as Batman, no one will like them.
All right, great follow-up to this next one. The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren.
I watched this movie before I knew there was a Punisher comic.
You just thought Dolph Lundgren was just Frank Castle?
I just thought it was like, oh, this is an action movie with Dolph Lundgren. This will be fun. It's not good. This is not true to the comics in any way except for the name of Frank Castle.
They do, the origin is kind of right. And he has
Yeah.
like the skull on the knife, but he's just kind of wearing a leather coat the whole time.
Yeah. And they just give Dolph Lundgren jet black hair, which is kind of interesting.
Which is, at least they did that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, I'll be honest, this is probably the worst of the Punisher movies.
It is, but I always tell people, if you want to watch ridiculous 80s action,
It's a good time.
check it out.
It's not boring in any sense.
No, it's not.
It's
short,
quick.
too.
I
It's
think
90 minutes.
yeah,
It's 90 minutes. So check it out.
That was the good thing about movies back in the 80s and 90s. Like, you could watch a movie that was 90 minutes. So even if you're like, this is not great.
90 minutes.
Yeah. I was like, keep me busy until, this edible kicks in.
Sit next to you in the theater like, this sucks. What do you care? It's 90 minutes. Oh, yeah, pass the popcorn.
It's like, the movie's never long enough to walk out on.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to walk out on this movie. Oh, it's over.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Great follow-up. Return of Swamp Thing.
Return of Swamp. Oh, this movie is so annoyingly dumb. Riff Tracks is doing it in their next live show, and I'm going to see it. And for that, it's worth seeing.
Okay.
But it's so... I mean, they do get a lot of
high cheese. We talked about cheese before.
This
Very
is super high
very cheesy movie.
This is in line with Superman 3.
But a fun watch if you like watching shit like
Honestly,
that.
if you like Batman Forever, then you'll like Return of Swamp Thing.
That's true. I like
It's
Batman
in
Forever.
that similar spirit.
Not as good as a soundtrack, but a
Great
good
soundtrack,
soundtrack nonetheless.
I'm sure we're going to get to that movie. But yeah, if you like Batman Forever, watch Return of Swamp Thing.
Great review.
I will only watch it if people are making
I
fun of
love
it.
this next couple ones coming up next.
Oh, okay.
1990 Captain America.
Oh, I was wondering if this one was going to come
It
up
has to be.
with Italian
I have
stereotype.
to tell
Red
people
skull,
what we had for so long.
fake ears. This is the Matthew Salinger one.
Yeah.
Matthew Salinger, the son of J.D. Salinger, famous for Catcher in the Rye. And
J.D. Salinger. Shout out BoJack Horseman.
Yes. This movie's so freaking bad.
It does the corniest version of his origin story.
Which his origin story is kind of corny.
But the beginning of the movie's pretty cool.
The beginning of the movie's not bad.
It's got the World War II thing, and then after that, he's just like walking.
Actually, the good thing about this movie is they do everything that Captain America, the First Avenger did over like a 2.5 hour movie.
In like 20 minutes.
In about 20 minutes.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Come on, let's get to the point, people. Move it along.
Move along. Get him on the rocket. Get him in the ice.
Yeah. We got to get him back. Got to get him that weird outfit where he has fake ears.
This movie was on the WB afternoon movie all the time when I was a kid.
Oh, of course. They got it for like $2.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like all they had to do was call up Matthew Salinger and be like, "Good day, this is your payment."
Yeah. So check it out.
We sent you your 6-pack of Paps.
This one is not a comic book, but I had to throw it on there because it is a superhero movie. Darkman.
Darkman's a comic.
Is it? Oh,
It's a Dark Horse comic.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, it became a comic after the movie, though.
Did it? I don't know.
All right.
This is a great
It is a great movie.
This is one of the early Sam Raimi movies.
Early Sam Raimi, early
One
Liam
of his-
Neeson roll
I would
into
honestly say
Hollywood.
one of his best. Liam Neeson is great in this role.
Yeah. It's a
I
great
forget-
plot.
Yeah, I forget the character.
the villain?
Character actor who plays
Durant?
Durant.
Oh, man,
Is
he's great. He's also
perfect.
Dr. Giggles, I think.
Yes, it's
He was a villain guy. There's a guy like, I
it's
was
a
talking about.
perfect dark comic book style movie.
Yeah, and it's Liam Neeson gives this bonkers performance with this guy, who
And this
just
is before Liam Neeson was anyone.
he gets like mad, and like when he gets mad, the world around him starts to
Yeah.
explode. So they have this.
He can't. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's
When he gets
kind
mad
of
at
his
the
superpower.
carnival.
Like,
His superpower is getting angry.
yeah, he gets angry and he's unstoppable, and then
Which, if we get to Mystery Men, that's exactly stolen by Ben Stiller.
and then like, but it's surrounded with this really weird plot that involves synthetic skin.
Yeah.
And how he's developed this whole idea, and he's sort of, that's another thing he does. He develops these masks that sort of, but they kind of deteriorate. That's the thing, it
It only
deteriorates.
lasts a certain time. So
Yeah, but there's actually a great Bruce Campbell cameo at the end of that when he goes off into it's Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
the mask. But yeah, Darkman, I love that movie.
Darkman, great visual for especially a movie they made for.
Holds up too. It's got
Let
some
them know.
stuff, but still,
Yeah,
it's
I
still
mean-
the way it's shot. It's still really cool. And there's
Dynamite.
a great scene where he's fucking Durant's chasing him when he's in the fucking helicopter. He's got the fucking and it's still, they shot it all practically and everything like that, and it's still a really cool scene. So Darkman, check it out. After that, Dick Tracy with Paul Bettany. Is that
And James Caan in a very small role.
James Caan? Yes.
I forget what this.
Oh,
character-
he's Flat Top. No, he's
no,
in
he's not flapped.
one of the mobsters in the poker game, right?
Yeah. I think he just has like one line or something like that. This was literally Warren Beatty just calling up everyone he knew and be like, "Hey, you want to do Dick Tracy?" And everyone's like, "Sure." This movie it's colorful, it's bright, it's real homage to sort of old school comic strip style storytelling.
They stuck with that bright, like sort of what's pop art style, and it's weird because I argue that gives the film an extremely interesting visual.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. And this is honestly, I'm going to say it, and people might argue, but this is one of Al Pacino's best
You've
performances.
said this before. I've brought this up. We've talked about this on your stoop.
And just adding so much depth to this huge character in size and in just the scope of it and stuff like this. He is amazing in this. Like, this is what you want every Pacino performance to be on that level. Just insane. He's talking to himself.
He's Big Boy, was it?
Big Boy. Big Boy.
Yeah, I remember the scene where he just goes, "Your dirty lips, take a bath." It's just drowned. It's actually kind of violent film.
Dustin Hoffman is mumbles.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman mumbles. Yeah. He slows the thing down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Big Boy did it. Big Boy did it.
Calm down, mumbles.
It's William Forsythe, this flap top, I think.
Yeah. Who was there's a guy who maintained he was that kind of heavy villain role. He plays like sort of henchman still.
Great
So
and Stone Cold.
Check out Dick Tracy. We're gonna rattle some of these off. And we're about no, this is gonna be tough. Some good ones.
All right, I'll try.
Well, no, I've Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The
First one, the 91, great.
I would like to say I've made an argument why this may be one of the best comic book films ever made.
Oh, it's perfect. It's true to the original source material.
Yeah, and it's still like, even with the puppetry, because it's Jim Henson, because he was so good at what he did. You watch that movie now and you're like, it's still like, I buy it. Like, you know.
Also, the other thing about it is it does dark and funny at the same time without
Shredder's
cheaping
scary.
Yeah, the whole premise of the movie is children literally being turned against society and being manipulated by this.
I mean, I got to be honest. I feel like I could take on a couple of like stage 1 Foot Clan members. I could probably take a few of them on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like Danny before when they're just like hanging out. I can take those kids out. And the coolest hangout.
I'm pretty sure you were Danny in high school.
Yeah, he's a great kid. Great character that we kind of see the movie through, by the way.
Yeah.
Great character that we kind of see the movie.
Great point of view character.
Yeah, they do a lot of like things in this movie. You've got a very scary villain in Shredder. I remember when he first came on this in the movie, and he's got that drum beat. Yeah, he gets like a professional wrestler. Yeah. He's like, "This is your family. I, the Dragon Doji." And you're like, and they have the score to this movie is got this when the bad guys are in, they've got this like string thing they do, and it's creepy. It always creeped me out as a kid. It's also got the best on-screen appearance of Casey Jones ever. Like everything works in that movie with that they try to do. So
it's phenomenal.
Yeah, check out. All right, after this, Rocketeer.
Rocketeer. I haven't seen this movie in ages. Let me just tell it this way. Jennifer Connelly is hot as hell. The rest of the movie, I don't remember anything else.
That's a great review for The Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Ugh, garbage. Skip it.
Moving on. Batman Returns.
Batman Returns, and people argue with me, one of probably my... It's hard to say.
You do really like this movie.
I love this movie.
I'm not a fan.
This is one of Tim Burton's best movies. I know a lot of people say, well, there's not a lot of Batman in it, or it's accused of different things. There's a lot of weird things going on. This is just exploring just society, culture, capitalism. There's so much rich stuff to mine here.
I like the Catwoman stuff. I've always liked the Catwoman. I don't like the movie as a whole, but I like Catwoman stuff.
I love the Penguin stuff too. I think
just don't like it.
I know a lot of people,
but I'm not gonna fight you on it. It's not my thing. All right, I'm really proud of this next one because this was released in theaters. Absolutely a movie because I didn't put any animated things on here. There's only one animated movie on here. There's 2 animated movies on here because they're the only ones that were released in theaters.
Is it Mask of the Phantasm?
Yes, it is. Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh, is that? Oh, probably still the best Batman movie.
Thank you. TMNT 3, Turtles in Time.
Oh, better than
Perfect.
2.
You just made a sound.
Better than 2, but
really, you think it's better than 2?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Think I don't like 3. I recognize 2 got its faults, but I don't like 3 at all.
No,
the costumes don't look nearly. Because everything because at least in 2 they maintained there was a quality they maintained about how it looked with the puppetry and everything. By the time you get to 3, they look way too cartoonish. They got the big eyes at that point.
Oh, yeah.
The teeth are ridiculous.
It's not good. I mean, I'm not.
No, it's not good. Moving on. The Crow.
I think the which one?
The Crow.
Oh, The Crow. The Crow is really, really good, but I don't think it's as good as we remember it. I think there's this nostalgia, and there's also the loss of Brandon Lee.
There's a tragedy to it.
Yeah, like there's sort of an incompleteness to the film as a whole, which I think comes from.
But if you haven't seen it, watch it. I think especially just for where it fits in this, and so you can enjoy all the many sequels they made, and none of them are watchable.
Because what is it? The next one's the
City of
Crow
Angels. I like City of Angels. I like parts of City of Angels.
Actually,
they tried too hard with it, though. They tried too hard to be weird.
Yeah.
But
And Iggy
everything
Pop's
after that's
in it, so-
awful. Yeah. The Mask. Jim Carrey's The Mask. It's
I haven't seen it in ages. It's fun. It's a good time.
all right.
Yeah. You'll have a good time. It's a good early Jim Carrey movie
It's
before he went
probably
completely
the
insane.
quintessential early Jim Carrey movie. A lot of people think it's Ace Ventura, but this is like
This is when he gets to act.
Yeah.
And
because he does the
Jim
Stanley
Carrey.
Ipkiss shit,
Yeah.
and then he does the wacky stuff as this other character.
Yeah.
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. I don't care for it. I gotta be
It's
honest.
fine.
There are likable parts to
We're
it.
not here to dissect
And
anything
stuff.
too deep.
Yeah, and yet we end up doing
Well,
it.
it's the beginning of the Batman Neon craze, which I wasn't
I'm
a
not
fan of.
a Joel Schumacher fan, and I understand that there's been a desire to sort of revisit Joel Schumacher and make him
Yeah,
like,
there's been a big. This is something to talk about. I understand Snyder Cut, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
a lot of this stuff, but now they're like put together Batman Forever, and I'm like, but why? Like,
Why? There's
why
nothing-
was-
it
there's
didn't-
nothing really
it
wrong
was
with
a
that theatrical
huge
cut.
success.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's nothing wrong with the movie. Technically,
no,
it was a
it's fine.
huge success. Actually,
It's entertaining. Watch Batman Forever. It's not-
if you like Frank, if you grew up watching with this one particularly, if you grew up watching the '60s Batman with Frank Ocean's Riddler, you'll
Yeah,
enjoy
this one,
Jim
yeah.
Carrey's Riddler in this because that's
Jim Carrey's Riddler is
Yeah.
actually pretty good. Yeah.
Tank Girl.
Tank Girl. This is a great movie.
Love this movie.
It's very weird. Very,
It's
very
out there.
weird. Yeah. But it's a great Lori Petty performance.
Oh
and
yeah, if
stuff
you
like-
want to see someone who should have been Harley Quinn before anybody else.
Well, she was Harley Quinn in something, wasn't it? No.
She voiced it, I think,
Oh.
but she never did a
You know
live
what? Let's
action.
not get distracted.
Anyway, Tank Girl rules. Check it out. Weird
Tank
movie
Girl,
with Ice.
Definitely check it.
Ice T is a kangaroo in it.
Yes.
Judge Dredd.
The Stallone one. I saw it in theaters. It's pretty terrible.
It's pretty terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on.
It might be so bad it's good, but I don't see
You
it.
betrayed the law.
So weird.
The Phantom.
The Phantom. I like the Phantom.
I do
gotta
too.
be
I had the
honest.
rings.
No one. It was weird to make that movie because no one knew who the hell the Phantom was.
No,
was a
it was
comic book
based on from the 30s or
Yeah,
20s
no
about
one
this
was-
jungle sort of guy. The role was almost played by Bruce Campbell. I know that.
Yeah.
He was the second guy that auditioned for it.
Yeah.
And the
But
movie's
Billy
actually
Zane-
kind of fun and
Yeah.
cool. It's got a neat
But
little
it's
plot.
totally about. I mean, if you want to talk about white savior complex,
Oh, yeah.
this movie's like the prototype.
The white guy in the
The
jungle.
white guy who's protecting the natives in the jungles.
Yeah.
From it's like ugh.
Yeah.
It's really bad in that sense. But it's a fun adventure movie.
Yes, it is.
And who is it plays the villain and is actually really good. Oh, I can't think of it. It's not important. Move along.
All right.
I'll think of it in like
We're chugging
30
along great right now. The Batman and Robin.
Terrible.
Terrible. Moving on.
Skip it.
Men in Black.
Men in Black is awesome.
First Men in Black. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love the first
Men
Men
in
in Black.
Black is fantastic.
That movie's-
Watch that movie.
It's got a great opening with Tommy Lee Jones
Yeah.
in the desert and everything. Mikey, when they lead you out of jail, that shit.
Yeah.
And then the next episode, the next thing with there's some great
It does
Will
a
Smith.
great
There's some
job.
great Will Smith lines in that movie where he's like
Oh,
he
yeah.
jumps on the bus and he just says it'd be raining black people in New York.
It's also one of the best examples of perfect world building.
Yeah. Also,
It just slowly introduces you to what's going on,
Without-
and you get to enjoy the discovery
because
as the character.
you discover it along with Will Smith's character.
Yeah.
Which is rare nowadays. Also, they do something that I really like in movies that are centered in New York, where they make New York a character.
Yeah.
That's what Ghostbusters does. Any movie that successfully takes place in New York, the city is a character in and of itself.
Right.
And they really...
Which is also the first Teenage Mutant Ninja
they
Turtles
did.
movie.
It's like
yeah.
another great reason that movie succeeds is because they use the
though I
setting
don't
to their advantage.
Necessary. I don't think it was mostly shot.
I think it was sound stages mostly.
Yeah,
but they
But it feels like
replicated
New York,
it. Yeah.
I'd be like, this seems like a new movie.
All right. So we're blah, blah, blah. Men in Black. Spawn.
Terrible.
You don't like
Watch
it?
the animated series voiced by Keith
Oh,
David.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Steel.
Very terrible. The only movie that
I don't know why they made this.
this is
We
so
don't even
bad.
have to
it's
talk
not
about
worth
it.
watching.
Just don't watch
Yeah,
it.
skip
Fuck off. Everybody sucks.
Shouldn't exist.
Shaquille O'Neal, I respect you, but why?
Watch Kazam.
Blade.
Blade.
Blade rules. Blade fucking rules.
Blade was fucking great.
First Blade.
The first two Blades.
Wesley Snipes basically started a lot of he was the beginning of the good Marvel movies.
This
That
was the first.
yeah.
No one believed a Marvel movie could succeed.
This was a
Actually,
huge hit, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
this was the first time, and there was sort of a lull in comic book movies outside, especially the Batman movies.
They were dead after Batman and Robin.
Yeah, no one thought they would ever be viable again. And Blade, made for pennies, but is an excellent movie.
Awesome comic book movie, good horror stuff, great villain, cool vampires, good cast, awesome fucking fighting in it. It was really it's a precursor to what it's a precursor to what everything that Underworld became later.
Yes.
X-Men, first one.
I mean, I liked it when it first came out, but now it's
special effects wise do not hold up.
No,
man.
the movie as a whole, it's really short.
Yeah,
it's to the point.
I think it's 90 minutes. I think it's less than 90 minutes.
Yeah, it gets to the point, but overall, it's sort of especially by today's standard. Like, it doesn't have.
Yeah, especially with the way comic movies can be done now.
It doesn't have anything about it that makes it unique enough to go back and be like, oh, that's of its time or period. It's sort of bland.
It's really the casting that you watch that movie for. Because you got a really, great Wolverine at the time, even though he's way too tall. But he was the character, and like the thing about it is I remember watching that movie not too long ago, and when they get to the part where he's fighting Sabretooth on top of the Statue of Liberty, which cool setting, but you're watching it and he does the thing where he fucking flips around. It looks so fucking bad now.
Yeah, there's a
lot because that CGI, there was a slump, man. Like even peak technology wasn't going to last more than 2 years before they made it look better and then better and then you know what I mean? All right, so X-Men. All right, that's From Hell. Comic book movie.
Oh, yeah. It's... The performances are really good. It's really weird. It's not great. Okay. I think the comic is so much better.
They delve into a lot of weird shit in the comic.
It's kind of worth watching as a movie, but
it's done well as a film.
It looks to the period and stuff like that.
It comes off kind of generic at the end of the day is the problem.
Yeah.
I think, right?
In a lot of ways,
it's a good performance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Check it out if you like fucking true crime shit. Jack the Ripper story. It's a cool little movie. If you
watch it, I decide for yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't like
it, if you like comics, read the fucking comic, definitely. This is a cool one. Ghost World.
Ghost World is really good.
Yeah.
Fantastic performances by Thora Birch and Steve Buscemi, and even a very young Scarlett Johansson.
Yep, very young Scarlett Johansson.
And stuff like this. Really funny, very, very analytical of the world of the 90s, especially that generation. But watch it, definitely.
Yep. Blade 2.
Blade 2. Honestly, my favorite of the Blade
movies.
2
rules.
I love Blade 2.
You were talking before about how sequels bigger and better. That's a perfect example of a bigger and better sequel. More vampires, more vampire hunters.
Del Toro, who's a fantastic visual director who does monsters really well.
Yeah, he did monsters really well.
And
it was
like he makes them
down. Yeah,
he makes them characters. He did just not even just the visuals and the design, but also just he imbues them with real, genuine characters, even when they're the villains.
Which is always, which is sort of what
which pays off a lot in his two Hellboy movies.
Yes, it does. Which particularly Hellboy 2, which I love. Yeah. Men in Black 2.
Yeah.
Moving on. Road to Perdition.
Road to Perdition. The Once is a really good movie, but the one slight they don't let Tom Hanks is supposed to be this hitman for the mob and stuff.
Cool story.
He just doesn't. He's not right in that. You just don't believe that this guy's a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, you wanted to believe it. Yeah. I'll take that. Yeah, it's still a cool, interesting movie. Daniel Craig plays a great, very
weaselly character. Too.
He's a bastard in it, and then it's also what's his name? Jude Law plays this rival.
The difference is like Jude Law.
He's good.
You believe that he's like that cold-blooded killer.
And he plays like the sicko one,
right?
The camera guy one. So check out Road to Perdition. Spider-Man, first one. Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I mean, basically defined the genre for the next 10 years. Even more so when you get to Spider-Man 2. It's excellent.
Yep. All right, moving on. Fun one. American Splendor.
American Splendor. Bizarre, interesting. I mean, it's just worth watching just for what they do with a movie about a really unique character that you don't see movies about.
And if you like Paul Giamatti performances, this is a fucking good one. This is a fucking good one.
Almost as good as his performance as the Rhino.
Yeah. Get to that later. Daredevil. Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Skip it.
Skip it. Hulk.
The
Ang Lee Hope.
The Ang Lee Hope. So bizarre. So bizarre.
Good. I used to hate this movie. We're going to crunch this a little bit, but I used to hate this movie. I've come to like it a little bit because, it's broad strokes. It's a lot of big swings. Some of it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But the choices, the poodles I don't like it.
The poodles, the weird thing is, like, people always call that out but there's a good part of this movie that's just contemplative.
Yeah.
In the first,
It tries to be sci-fi really hard.
yeah, like it tries to be serious sci-fi really
and
hard.
it doesn't really work, but I appreciate
Yeah.
it. I think I appreciate what angling. Plus, there's the comic book panel thing, so it's kind of like a pull. So you know what? If you want to watch, probably one of the most interesting superhero films
Someone is
ever
playing
made.
with the genre. If
You're
nothing else.
never going to see one like this again, at least not for a while in mainstream and in the mainstream movies. Yeah, this is going to be a quick one. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
It ended Sean Connery's career.
Oh God, X2
Holds
up better than X1. Holds up better than X1.
Way better. Yeah, way better. It's probably still my favorite X-Men movie.
Yeah, it's really Wolverine
today.
1.
Yeah, it's true.
But you got a great villain in Stryker.
Right.
Brian Cox plays Stryker. He's fucking awesome in it.
The mansion invasion is fantastic.
So good.
And then the final fight at the end is much better. Him versus Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah.
Or
Oh
Deathstroke.
my God, that was cool. And then
it's so vicious. It just works.
It was like we kind of got to see Wolverine be Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know. Drop off here a little bit. Blade 3.
Oh, I mean, if you like Ryan Reynolds,
They tried with this movie. I'll say that.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Even if you do like Ryan Reynolds, maybe not watch this.
This is also an example of trying to put too much in the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
at one point he's battling Dracula, and the next point it's you add new characters to
like a lot
flesh
of
out
new
the
characters.
Yeah.
Patton Oswalt's in it. You like Patton Oswalt? He says some funny things.
Yeah, Natasha Lyonne's in it for
There's
some
a
reason.
there was a weird ending they deleted where there was a werewolf thing. I guess is what they were going to do next. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Hellboy. No, I'm
Hellboy.
sorry. Whoa. Catwoman.
Skip it.
Okay.
Shouldn't even exist.
Hellboy.
Hellboy's great.
Yeah, Hellboy
The
rules.
second one's
Check it out.
better, but the first one's really
They had more money in the second one, to
Yeah.
be fair.
and I think they got more creative with it.
Yeah, they did. Ron Perlman rules as the character.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like David Harbour as
He was left out
Hellboy
to
in
dry
the
with
later
that
ones.
script. He was good as the character, but the
Yeah.
script was
In a
just
bad-
it was so hokey.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. But
If you
it
made
was,
the Hellboy 3 that Del Toro wanted to make, and you replaced
like almost-
Perlman for whatever reason with Harbour, I think it'd work.
yeah,
I think that would be a movie he would
there's
thrive.
so much makeup and everything.
Yeah,
you know.
but he brings. But you gotta have the soul inside the makeup.
But check out
And
the
that's
first
what
Hellboy
Perlman-
that they
yeah,
made.
they're both-
Definitely check out the first Hellboy. Punisher, Tom Jane.
Kind of like this movie.
I do too. I think they did a lot of things right about it, except for the only thing I don't understand why it's in Florida.
That's one. John Travolta's so over the top, but it kind of works.
Yeah.
And the other thing is just go full R.
And Tom Jane really did work as the character.
I absolutely believe that also.
So much so, I think he voiced it in like a couple of video games after that.
And I love the Kevin Nash fight with him.
Oh, that's one of the best parts of the movie.
Oh,
I
it's
talked about
fantastic.
with my other guest, Tim Thompson. We were talking about that's
Tim's no best.
It's worth it for that alone.
Absolutely.
Okay. Spider-Man 2.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. Batman Begins.
Batman Begins is.
I would like to point out Spider-Man 2 is still one of my favorite Spider-Man movies, though.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
It's got such a great script. It's
My
got
favorite is we haven't gotten to it yet, but
We'll get
we'll get to it. Okay.
Batman Begins, though. Sorry.
Batman Begins basically revitalized
The character.
Batman. Yeah, in a lot of ways like this.
I feel like nobody saw this movie until it came out on VHS and DVD.
Here's the thing, though. In the last couple times I watched it, though, the middle section of this movie is just boring.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, well, he's creating the character and stuff like this. You could take 30 minutes of the middle of this movie and turn it into a 5-minute montage. And
fair.
it would still work. And it'd be better for it.
But, you know, I've
It's
always
so
said
drawn
at the
out.
time, we had never
though,
seen
yeah.
somebody explain painstakingly explain
I appreciate
how he
it,
became
yeah.
the character. We'll never see it again because of that. That's why I agree with what you're saying. They'll never do it like that.
Yeah, because no, you're right.
Because it's never going to be better than the way that he did it, with him fucking off for 9 years
Right.
and then basically being doing it that way, and then making the choice to not have Batman in the first hour of your film.
But the problem is it's not the beginning of the
No,
film.
it's the middle. You're talking about the
It's
middle
the
when he's
middle
figuring
of
out
the
how to be Batman.
When he leaves the monastery place, and then between then and the first appearance of Batman
Yeah.
and stuff like this, when he's back in Gotham, that's the section that I'm just like, this doesn't need to be this long.
Fair.
But,
All right.
But still, no, great. We're
We're gonna try to power through some of this, right? But so
Welcome to our 6-hour episode.
it's okay, it's all right. Constantine,
Pretty good.
pretty good. Check it out if you like the character.
If you like the character, you like Keanu
They did a
Reeves,
lot of cool things in this movie.
There's a lot of great stuff in it. I'm not going to go into detail.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
It's also shot cool.
Yeah.
Elektra.
Terrible. Skip it.
Fantastic Four.
Probably should just skip it. Anything with Fantastic Four, just skip.
History of Violence.
Oh, excellent movie. What is that?
It's Cronenberg.
Cronenberg.
Yeah, based on a fucking graphic novel. Weird ass
with
graphic
Viggo
novel.
Mortensen.
Yep. It's actually one of my favorite Cronenberg films because it's so different from everything that he did. He doesn't have any of that body horror stuff.
Horror stuff.
Yeah. But it still feels Cronenberg-esque.
Great performances. Maria Bello, always awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Ed Harris, super creepy.
Great job doing uncomfortable violence in that.
Excellent movie all around.
Sin City.
The first one is awesome.
Amazing.
Love the first.
Yeah,
Sin
it's actually
City.
that's up there as one of the best. Like talking about from page to screen, you probably can't do better than that first Sin City movie.
I don't love Frank Miller as a human being.
I know, yeah, I know.
Stuff like that. But as a creative force, it
works.
It works. It's just incredibly pleasant to watch sometimes.
V for Vendetta.
It's okay.
Okay, 300.
300. As a visual piece,
yeah.
But this is an example of where like
comic book's also not very long.
No, but this is also a Frank Miller comic and stuff like this, and I feel that influence on it sometimes. With it, I think it looks amazing. The fight scenes are, and it's certain Zack Snyder brought a whole new visual language to comic books and stuff like that. So I think it's definitely worth doing. There's some. I mean, if you read into, just watch it.
I mean, it's definitely like a spectacle.
Try not to take any of the ideology from it.
No,
stuff like
please
that.
don't start dressing without shirts on. Superman Returns.
Terrible. Skip it.
X-Men 3.
X-Men 3, the same as Superman Returns.
30 Days of Night.
30 Days of Night.
Comic book movie.
It is a comic book movie. It's a good vampire horror
It's
movie.
a different vampire film. I've always, some people don't like it,
seeing,
but I've said, I mean, first you get a great little Ben Foster performance in the first 20 minutes as the mysterious guy. Very good actor. But it's got fucking cool. It takes place in fucking Alaska during the dark season, whatever. So there's just constant vampire threat.
Yes, because the sun never.
Yeah, the sun never comes out.
It's almost like there's 30 days of night.
Fantastic Four 2 sucks. Anyway, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
That one might be the best of all of them, but it's still.
You do get the visual of fucking Doom on the board.
Yeah, you get that.
Ghost Rider.
Nicolas Cage.
Cage.
It's short.
Yep.
That's all I'll say for Ghost Rider.
Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3. I think it's better than it gets credit for, but it
is a mess at the end.
It's a mess. It's too much going on.
Yeah.
Try to squeeze too much in there.
Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight, still to this day, by a smidgen my favorite Batman movie, live action.
Hellboy 2.
Hellboy 2, awesome, best Hellboy movie. Watch
it. Incredible Hulk. Edward Norton version.
Effective movie, worth watching.
Not a bad flick, I would argue, because they do harken back to the Bill Bixby show.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. It's really what the first Hulk should have been.
Yeah.
I think it would have been successful if it had gone that way. Yeah. But it's, by modern day comic book movie standard, it seems small.
Yeah, it's very small.
Yeah.
It's contained.
Which is weird to say about the Hulk.
Iron Man 1.
Oh, wow. I mean, what can you know? It started page everything. One of the MCU.
Page 1.
Without that, there is nothing after that. It's dynamite. It's perfect. It takes basically the structure of Superman and makes it work for that character.
Yeah. Punisher Warzone.
It's very violent.
It's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch.
It's cartoonishly violent.
Yeah.
All right. Watchmen. I know this could spark a longer conversation, but try your best.
If you can stand to watch the 4-hour full cut of the movie,
which is the only way to do that book.
It's the only way to watch this movie.
Because I argue that 4-hour cut is a good representation. The best we're ever going to get.
It has everything in it. It has the Dawn Trader stuff in it and everything else like that. It has everything all the weird that stuff the story needs. Watch that. Otherwise, skip it.
Wolverine. The Wolverine. No, it's Wolverine Origins.
Terrible. Skip it.
Yeah, it sucks ass. Digital claws. Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2 it's fun.
It's a great fucking Sam Rockwell part.
Sam Rockwell. It's I think it's better than it's given credit for, but it's okay.
It's one of those ones that just kind of ends for me.
If you wanted to catch up, if you haven't seen any Marvel MCU movies and you wanted to catch up and you're like, are there any I could skip? You could kind of skip this one.
Yeah. Kick-Ass.
The
I love
first
this movie. I
Kick-Ass was
fucking love
great.
this movie.
I love the first Kick-Ass. Was an independent comic.
Miller, Chris Miller,
Mark Miller
Mark Miller,
or Mark Millar.
Mark Millar, Mark Millar. Yeah,
Yes.
Kick-Ass is great.
But it's a great deconstruction of superheroes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And another great Nicolas Cage performance.
That is true. He's Big Daddy in that.
Yeah. And he sort of pulls from like an Adam West style Batman.
Yeah, it's a very interesting performance. It's a bold choice.
And it just, and that, I don't want to give too much away. Watch Kick-Ass.
The Losers. I love this movie.
Losers is very interesting.
I saw this movie in theaters. Nobody gave a shit about it. I thought it was cool.
It's one of those movies you'll watch it, you'll like it, you won't remember it in a week.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
I love Scott Pilgrim vs.
Me
the World. Edgar
Talk about
Wright.
underappreciated when it came out too.
I saw it in a movie theater by myself.
I think I saw it with like
The
3
day
other
it came
people.
out.
Yeah.
So that says a lot. Fantastic. And plus every actor that's famous now is in this movie.
Yep. Captain America, Chris Evans.
It's good. It's
a solid movie. It's not like
Solid.
bad. There's nothing wrong with it.
really fat.
Good.
This
Yeah,
movie.
it's fat. It's got
It
good
could
film.
stand a little trim.
You could take about 20 minutes of it out.
Yeah.
But Chris Evans is actually
Yeah.
one of the things I've always said, even throughout all the stuff, I've always enjoyed him as Cap.
Yeah.
So
He works.
he works.
One of my least favorite Chris Evans performance, which sounds cruel.
No, it's not cruel.
Yeah, he's fine. I just think
Because I've seen him do amazing stuff.
he's got a wealth of personality as he is. He's a really smart guy.
What's
and
the
stuff
point
like
you always
this.
say, not another T movie? He's hilarious in that.
Oh yeah, and that's when he was like fresh out of the womb.
Yeah.
Or 18.
Okay.
And I didn't think he ever really brought that much character to Captain America, but I don't think there's that much to bring.
Yeah, a lot of true.
Yeah.
Green Hornet, Seth Rogen.
It's not skip it.
Okay, Green Lantern. We can skip it. We can skip Green Lantern. First Thor.
Here's the thing with Green Lantern though. Green Lantern is the movie Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing when you really break it down.
Done worse.
But just doesn't work.
Oh God.
And we spent hours trying to figure out why, but it just doesn't work.
Okay. Thor, first one.
It's fine.
X-Men First Class.
First Class is probably my second favorite on the X-Men stories.
First Class is my favorite X-Men movie.
Another one they do
It does
a
so
great
many
job
things
with
right.
casting.
Yeah, they do. The
James
story works.
McAvoy and Fassbender are fantastic.
Yeah, who knew he would be one
Kevin
of
Bacon is fine as the villain.
the... We've always pointed out,
Yeah.
and I've said this with Justin Trice many times, or my friend Justin, that Kevin Bacon is secretly the greatest actor of all time. We still
He's
know
a
it.
fantastic
Well, I
actor.
didn't even know he was in. He wasn't even in the trailer, and he's like the main villain.
Yeah, no, he's a great actor.
All right, The Amazing Spider-Man. That's the Garfield one.
I liked that one.
I did
It's
too.
fine.
I actually
Yeah.
liked the first one better than the second one.
Yeah.
The Avengers, the big crossover.
The first Avengers movie
Yeah.
is exactly what it needs to be, and it's perfect. And go see it.
Drags in the beginning. Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, I hate fucking Dark Knight.
I know you do. I know.
This movie, there are certain movies, and we blazed past X3, and rightfully so.
It's
Dark
bad.
Knight Rises.
It's just all you can talk about is that it's bad.
The thing is, though, if you've watched the other two Batman, Dark Knight movies, you might as well watch Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
gonna say-
complete the trilogy.
But nothing in Dark Knight Rises makes any fucking sense.
Yeah, I know.
And right from the start, it just pisses me off straight through. I'm gonna get angry.
There's
So
like
let's move
one
on.
or two things that I like from it, but overall as a film, it is not good.
Yeah.
Dread. This is the Carl Urban one.
Oh, I love this movie.
This movie rules. Just that's
Lena-
all I really need to say about it. Go
Lena
check it out.
Headey, I mean, Carl
Great
Urban.
villain, shot great. It's got like a Game of Death vibe to it, where Dread's fighting
yeah.
his way through all.
Good call. Good
it's
call.
such a throwback that I
Yeah.
like, but they updated it and they used this drug called slow mo to give
Yeah.
you good visuals. And like I said, not only is there good character and Carl Urban, I want to say that this man. He's
Fantastic guy.
Billy Butcher on The Boys. He was in Lord of the Rings and everything. He's always
He was
been a
McCoy in the
he was-
Calvin line Star Trek movie.
even if you didn't, I know a lot of people that hated the new Star Trek movies, but they liked his bones. He's a good bones.
He's probably I
love Dredd.
I thought he did he's one of the actors who made the role his own the best. Like it's still McCoy, but it's his role now.
I know.
Sadly, the other one was Anton Yelchin as Chekhov. I thought.
He was really good.
Yeah,
That's sad.
really
Let's
good
stop
actor.
talking about sad
Yeah.
stuff. Let's talk about funny stuff. Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance.
Idris Elba on like a scooter.
Get through this fucking list.
We're gonna get through it.
Maybe not, but we're getting through this next page.
Well, I think we're only on 2005.
Getting through this next fucking page at least. Spirit of Vengeance. I'll say this: if you saw the first one, you might as well see this.
The second one's probably better. If you're gonna watch one of the other, watch Spirit of Vengeance.
They actually do more Ghost Rider stuff in the second one.
I mean, you have Peter Fonda in the first one.
Yeah, he played.
But that's about it.
Yeah, and it was the bike from Easy Ride. Whatever, it doesn't. Yeah. Men in Black 3 sucks.
No, better than 2 though.
Yeah, really? Okay, I was in 3.
Yeah, Joe was in that. So watch Men in Black 3 for that.
Two Guns. Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg, based on a comic book.
Holy shit!
Did you see it?
Never saw that.
All right,
I might watch it just for that.
It's based on a graphic novel.
Oh, okay.
Check this shit out too. Blue is the warmest color.
I didn't watch that.
Fucking graphic novel.
Is it really?
Yeah, I just didn't even know.
Someone described it to me. I was like, that sounds like it's going to be an excellent movie. I am not the target audience.
Oh yeah, but it's apparent. I guess. Yeah, I looked it up. When I was doing this list. A Bullet to the Head. Sylvester Stallone movie.
Oh,
that's a comic book movie. Apparently,
is it?
It's got an axe fight in it. That's all I need to say about it.
I mean, Momoa's great in it.
He is. He's the villain in it.
It's actually fine. It's watchable.
It's a 90-minute action movie. It's Stallone.
It's more in the spirit of like an 80s action movie because it's so quick and
to the point. It was a throwback in a way.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3.
I really like Iron Man 3.
You and I have always been on the same page with this.
I get a kick out of the Mandarin twist.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think, because I was telling this to Chris. I was like, isn't a director, you're not supposed to know what's going to happen. The director fooled you. Oh, good for you. He did his job.
Yeah. No.
People hated that.
People don't feeling stupid.
So check out Iron Man 3. Unless you really are like one of the Marvel zombies, then don't watch Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Kick-Ass 2.
I didn't care for it. Skip it.
Skip it next. The Lone Ranger. This is the Johnny Depp one.
Ugh, hard skip.
There's a great action scene in this movie.
Yeah.
There is the train chase sequence, and I like to say one of the bad guys.
This is Gore Verbinski did this one, right?
Yeah.
He
does a really good job with the chase scene on the train in this, and it's like a 20-minute action scene.
For that,
really cool. It's really cool.
Overall,
it's not a great movie.
I mean, the cast has questionable histories. It's also a white guy playing a Native American.
Isn't he part Native American? Isn't that his whole thing?
Yeah.
My cousin has a casino. Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
You and I have talked many.
We have spent so much time.
So
all I'm going to say is watch it.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with it is the last third of the movie is so
over the top.
Yeah, it's such an assault to your senses after a while that you're like, this is great action.
But if you want to see someone take a chance on Superman, that's my, it's a chance.
It's a different take.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a more cynical take, in that way. But it's David Goyer. That's
what he does.
You're gonna get. That's what you're gonna get. I mean, Zack Snyder's visuals are always interesting. It's very gray.
The Wolverine sequel to the Wolverine.
I liked this movie.
It was better than the Origins.
Yeah, until the
Silver Samurai said just actually. They do a good job.
It's a great samurai movie until the Silver Samurai shows up.
Because they do this, and the reveal when he can't. They did this whole thing where he can't use his claws really,
or his healing factor stops working.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And then they have this great hero reveal in the movie where he gets his powers back and he shreds these guards, and you're like, this is awesome. And then the fucking Silver Samurai thing, where it's like the visual. It's like the ending to the Origins movie where it's just like, oh, don't worry. I have an adamantium bullet. It'll shoot it. How do you know that? How do you know that that's not the only way to put him down?
So stupid. Yeah. Just once this giant samurai shows up, turn it off.
Yeah, because actually they do. It's a pretty cool, interesting little story. They adapt.
Well, that last visual of him getting shot with all the arrows with the cords attached to them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Walking through, which I think is literally taken from a samurai movie that I don't remember. Sorry, is actually a really nice visual. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Anyway, Cap 2, Winter Soldier, awesome. One of my favorite Marvel movies.
One of my favorite Marvel movies, absolutely.
Good story.
Yeah,
they
they
wrote a story. It's basic, but it's quite frankly, it's deeper than a lot of the other plots you get with some of these movies.
Yeah, I thought the
Robert Redford plays a great villain.
Yeah, the reveal I thought was pretty good, and everything else like that. Yeah, so
Guardians 1.
Really funny. It's a fun movie.
You can absolutely just say it's a fun movie because it's
a fun movie.
The Hercules with The Rock, based on a comic book.
It's true. It's a fun movie too. That's if you what
I like the take on the Hercules, him not being maybe
the idea that it's
he's
all
more of a
exaggerated.
con man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's like really strong regardless.
Yeah, you got Ian McShane there.
Yeah.
So there's some good performances. It's worth watching.
Okay, Snowpiercer.
Excellent.
Great
Definitely
movie.
watch it,
We talked about Chris Evans, somebody who has a wealth of
Yeah.
talent.
He's
He's
excellent.
in this. He's the lead. It's a cool movie about the entire society's basically on a
They made a
train.
series out of it. I've never seen it.
No, neither have I.
We don't have time to discuss it.
Skip that one. X-Men: Days of Future Past.
I like this movie, but
I like this too. I want to
Yeah.
like it more, but I don't.
Yeah.
They just don't do enough in it. The road cut is good,
Yeah.
but it's not enough for me to be like, this is great.
The weird thing is, I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but I love the X-Men.
I do too.
The X-Men,
I like Spider-Man, X-Men, and like
yeah,
Ghost
I
Rider.
like Spider-Man. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, but I love the X-Men. I thought the X-Men was always the best part of Marvel. Personal opinion, no judgment on anyone else. And so, and I always feel like with the X-Men movies, just like there's so much potential there, and I just feel like they just some of them come close. This is one that comes close, but I'm just like, you just not like. I feel like it needs to be. I don't know.
It's always missing something.
Yeah, like there's some depth or execution, or I don't know.
Shit.
I digress.
I've got to cut it here. I can't go any further. I want to point out we made it through. I wrote.
Wait, how much more do you have?
I got 3. You want to see if you can do this in less than 2 minutes?
One word answers. We'll just go through.
All right, here. You ready?
Yes.
Age of Ultron.
Skip it.
Fantastic Four.
Skip it.
The Miles Teller one. Yeah. Okay. Cap 3. Civil War.
Cap 3. My personal opinion. Skip it. But you would never understand anything that happens after it, so I guess you have to watch it.
BVS.
BVS. I like it. No one else does, but who cares? Fuck them all.
Deadpool.
Deadpool. Very funny.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Entertaining.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. I don't know. If you could find the actual original edit, watch that. But I don't know. It's going to frustrate you.
X-Men: Age of Apocalypse.
Terrible. Skip it.
Atomic Blonde.
Awesome. Definitely
Awesome
watch
movie.
that. Great movie.
Guardians Volume 2.
Skip it. I never cared.
I Kill Giants.
I didn't know that was
I
coming.
thought you might. They made a movie out of this. I know that you read the comics, so I didn't know if
Yeah.
you. Okay.
Definitely watch it.
Justice League. Whedon cut.
Oh, skip.
Kingsman 2. I didn't put Kingsman 1 in there.
Kingsman 1, C. Kingsman 2, skip.
Okay. Lego Batman.
It's very funny.
fucking
You should
great.
watch it. Yeah.
Logan.
Logan is awesome. Definitely watch it if you haven't.
I don't know if you've seen this one. My Friend Dahmer.
No, I didn't know.
Based on
coming.
comic book.
Oh, should watch
Spider-Man Homecoming.
it. Skip it. It's
Thor Ragnarok.
nothing. Thor Ragnarok's awesome. I love that one. I can't wait to see Love and Thunder, which I'll see this weekend.
Wonder Woman.
Awesome. Definitely watch.
Ant-Man 1 and 2.
Ant-Man 1 and 2.
I'm just going to cluster
The
them up.
first one you could skip. The second one's actually pretty decent.
Yeah. Aquaman.
Aquaman's great.
Infinity War.
Infinity War. Yeah, I mean,
There it is.
I didn't care for it, but then again, I really liked Endgame. But I've only seen Endgame once. It's a movie that I have no desire to watch again, but I really liked. Weird. You have to watch them both. So I feel like Infinity War could have been the first half hour of Endgame. But continue.
Black Panther.
Black Panther was a great movie. I really enjoyed that one.
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2 was very funny, but not as good as the first one.
The only other animated film I have on here, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
My favorite Spider-Man
Fucking
movie.
rules.
Yeah, awesome.
You said Endgame already. You said you liked it. Only watched it once.
Yeah,
Captain.
interesting.
Here we go. Ready? Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Skip it.
Dark Phoenix.
Skip.
Hellboy, the David Harbour.
Skip.
We kind of talked about this already.
We already talked about it.
If you want to see David Harbour, like he's a good performer, but other than that, there's not much else to see here.
Yeah, mostly I would say skip it.
Joker.
Joker, what requires a longer conversation.
Yeah,
Watch.
it's they're trying to do something with it.
Watch it. I don't know. A sequel seems insane, but
Yes, I said the same thing. Shazam.
but that might be good. Shazam is entertaining, worth watching. I don't know.
not a bad
I wouldn't-
movie.
Yeah, it's not great, but
Zachary Levi's
It's not
funny
bad.
in it.
yeah.
Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh, I never saw Far From
Was
Home.
this the one?
This is the one where he's in
I
Europe.
don't like this movie. I feel like it.
I went to see the most recent one, No Way Home,
Yeah.
and I sat there and I was like, oh, wait. And I turned to my nephew. I was like, I never saw the Spider-Man before this. Do I have to see it? My nephew was like 13. He's like, nah, you could have, it won't matter.
Yeah.
And he was right. Like 10 minutes into the next movie, I was like, I'm all caught up.
Justice League Snyder Cut.
Awesome.
Thank
Love
you.
it.
Me too. New Mutants.
I thought it was fine.
Never saw it. Never saw it.
It's
Never wanted to.
It's fine.
That's like what I mean. Never. Old Guard. This was the Charlie Theron
Oh,
movie.
I never
Netflix.
saw
It was
that.
fucking cool. I liked it. It was based on a comic book. Wonder Woman 84.
It's hard. There's some good parts, but I gotta lean towards skip it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Visually, there's probably some.
It
great
requires
stuff
a longer
in it.
discussion to flesh that out.
Yeah, longer discussion.
But really, just probably not worth it.
Black Widow.
Skip it.
We didn't need it.
Yeah, there are parts of it I like, but overall, it's
I like
meaningless.
David Harbour in it.
Yeah,
The Eternals.
The Eternals. The Eternals is interesting. I'm just really quick. I could talk about the Eternals for hours.
Yeah.
This movie, but I don't think it necessarily adds up to a good movie. So
There's some great ideas in it. I don't
if
know
you
if
want
it's
to have a long
executed.
conversation about it, watch
Maybe
it and then
one
call
day.
me.
Shang-Chi.
I like this movie. It was a good time.
Spider-Man, No Way Home.
This was a good time. I love.
This is a fun, feel-good. I mean, you're not going to not enjoy yourself
Yeah.
watching this. Willem Dafoe pops in, gives a fucking great
I
performance.
mean, all the old villains coming back.
I
Marissa
really
Tomei is
like
great.
how they
The
just...
the three Spider-Man together.
Why
Yeah,
is he so mad? Why is he always so mad?
yeah. There's some stupid jokes in these movies, but that's all Marvel movies now.
Suicide Squad, the James Gunn one.
Really good. I'm sorry it didn't do better.
Yeah, I
and
wish
it
it
led
did.
to Peacemaker, which is awesome.
Yeah, Peacemaker rules.
The only problem with the Suicide Squad is just like it's one of those things they try to be like, well, anyone can die in it, but then they kill everyone so quickly. It's just like by the end, you don't care that anyone dies.
Yeah, still fun.
If you go in a movie and anyone can die, and you know that like they're just going to kill someone that you care about, so you sort of shut down the care about factor. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, it's sort of like the ending didn't hit me emotionally. The final line of Starro was like I was happy floating out in space and stuff like that. Hits better than anything else emotionally in the movie, which I don't know how to feel about that. But it's kind of awesome. You should watch it.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's James Gunn kind of flexing too, so it's kind of really cool. Venom and Venom 2. I like Tom Hardy as the character. That's all I can really say.
I would say watch them, but I'm not going to say they're good.
Doctor Strange 2.
There's about 50% of it is very interesting and worth watching, but there's also 50% of it that I wish could have been cut from the movie as a whole.
The Batman.
The Batman was freaking awesome. It's hard for me to say this is like slightly behind The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And stuff like that. And I don't know.
One day, maybe I'll have you back and we'll have a longer discussion about that.
I can talk about it for hours.
And then finally, Morbius.
Skip it.
I can't believe he did this.
What a fucking garbage movie Morbius is.
They tried to make it not garbage. Remember, they were like, no, it's good. We're going to re-release it in theaters. I'm like, why? Like, what?
Oh, they were re-releasing it because there was a bunch of memes going around. So they're like, oh, people must be interested in it now.
They hate it.
The movie was so bad.
Fucking hate it.
It's not the worst movie.
I tried to make this short. But what a triumph, sir.
We're almost...
That's like, I don't know.
We're almost out of space on your timer.
80 movies. Christ. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That has been this week's episode. I've got 8 shows. I've got shows coming up this week. Unfortunately, this episode comes out Monday after they're already done. So my next big show is actually not until August 5th. I'm going to be in Milford, Connecticut with Fat Jay and Joe Crivello and Dan LaRocchia and, of course, the very cuddly Billy Geyer. Next episode, I may have more shows. I don't know. Comedy's a great gambit. But I like to think...
August 5th is Milton, Pennsylvania.
What?
August 5th.
I said August 5th.
What?
August 5th is Milton, Pennsylvania. We're going to be there with Joe Cravella,
I think
Billy
you said
Geyer.
Connecticut the first time.
I did say Connecticut.
Yeah.
I said Milford, Connecticut. Edit all this out.
People-
I'm going to be in Milford,
There's no comedy in Connecticut ever.
Milford, Pennsylvania with Fat Jay, Joe Crivello, Dan. What?
Milton.
Milton. I'm going to be in Milton, Pennsylvania with Joe Crivello, Billy Geyer, Fat Jay, and Dan LaRocchia. We're doing shows there. So that's the next thing I have on my calendar as of now. They changed since then. Tim, thank you for coming on.
Sure.
I'll
It's
have
great
you
to be
back
here.
on again. I said
I'm
it to
glad.
everybody. I don't mean it.
When I come back, we'll just start with all the movies at the beginning of time, and I'll review them all.
Just every movie. Oh, man. All right. So, guys, thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully we should have a big announcement soon as far as other platforms we're going to be on. We'll see. But, Tim, thank you for coming on. Everybody
My
like,
pleasure.
share, and subscribe. And this is the Millennial Stoner. Out. I do that at the end of every show, and I don't know.